So in the morning when I woke up, I saw this SMS from Johannes. Can you do the talk tonight? And I was like, okay, why not? So I made a quick brainstorm what kind of topics could be nice to talk about. And there are quite a lot of topics, so I will maybe give you a brief overview about things we could talk about. Then I show you, first thing I'm going to show you is a piece that is quite important to me, a piece that really touched my heart and inspired me. And then I will quickly talk you through some projects. And then we can maybe come back to some of the topics if you're interested to know how we deal with. We do some prints, we do some artist books, we think about the website, Facebook, we have a concept for that. We also have kind of an attitude how we deal with portraits and press. We think a lot about titles. We have quite some border stories, but I will turn the microphone off. I thought that maybe I show you a sculpture that really touched me, and that was when we went from London to Yorkshire Sculpture Park and visited the venue of Henry Moore. During the war, he had to move out from London and went to, I don't know exactly where it is, it's like 1 hour up from London, and it's a great place where he could set up his studios, and you have this fields and these sheep, and it's all very soft. So after working there for some years, he made this beautiful sculpture called Sheep, for the sheeps. And when you're there, you probably see the sheeps in the shadow of the sculpture, and it felt just right. The size of it, the placement, that he was working with kind of with the animals that were there. So for me, it really touched me. It was a really nice experience, and inspired me like reaching a level with the own works where people could come and are touched. So that's like something I would really like to have with my own work, that people go there and something happens, they're touched or think about something. I met Philippe like 20 years ago at the graffiti event we organized, and we get to know each other a little bit, and then I organized the exhibition about graffiti, and then we did the first work together. It was I think 2003, and started to work together. He comes from the graffiti background, painting, was working in the industry doing offset printing, and I was like on the other side. I did graphic design and organized events, and we started to work together, and like one of the first we did some small exhibitions and experiments. So there were a few people who gave us the chance, a commission to do a work in the public space in Arbonne at the Lake of Constance, and they gave us a budget about 7,000 Swiss francs. What was for us like a jackpot, like getting a budget for a project. It was like wow. So we were thinking a lot about what we were going to do with it, and then we ended up doing this work. And the title of the work is called As Far the Budget Allows. So the other side is like 14 miles away, 10 miles away. And so we bought 2 screws, wood, and saved some money for food, and went there, built up like a hut where we could sleep and eat and work when it was raining. And that was a great experience to spend like 10 days there, having the people coming around in the morning with the dogs. Then after a few days, they started to bring us cake or beer. So that was really nice. And for us, kind of a door opener, because it was, quite a huge, nice piece. It was like a door opener for more commissions.
Where is it?
It was temporary, so it's not there anymore. It was at the Lake of Constance. It's not that far from here, like 3 hours drive. And that's also a point, like it was temporary, so it was there for 4 months, something like this. And then we took it apart, tried to save as much wood as possible. With the rest, we made like a nice fire, and we still use some of the wood. So we used the wood for the project that came after, and we didn't have budget, so we used it as a resource to go further. The next one I want to show you, actually the next...
One question for that work, so you just, only you two did it? Or you had help with the construction?
Yeah, we had one friend who joined us for 2 days,
okay.
And then there was he's Andreas, I think. There was a guy who lives from social payment. He was hanging around there all the time, so he joined us. And actually, he was.
He was a foreigner.
He was a Swiss guy. He was a local.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But this time we were, almost like 2, 3, 4 people, because we were a little bit late, so there was the opening was already set, and we had like 10 days, so kind of, or even less. So I think it was something around 10 days. So about 2 years later, we got an invitation from Bregenzerwald. It's a really nice area, also not that far from here, with mountains, and then we asked if we, this was kind of, it got really physical. Like after these 10 days, we were really destroyed because you climb a lot, So after 2 years, we were like ready to do another piece.
I have questions around that construction.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, how did you secure the wood together? And can you walk on it afterwards? Was it a secure structure?
First question was how did you?
How did you put it together? What was your means of connecting all of the beams? Were they like 40 by 40?
We use 6 by 6 and the usual Dachlappen that's 5 to 2.5.
Which is a screw. How did you connect them?
With screws? Yeah. We prefer screws than nails because you can take them out again, use them again.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you could walk on it?
That's quite a difficult question because you're in the public space, so you're meant not to do something where people can climb on. If you apply for a Baugenehmigung for
engineering certificate.
Yeah, you apply for what's the Baugenehmigung in English?
Permit.
Building.
Permit to build something. It's way easier to say it's a temporary sculpture if you say it's permanent, it's a problem. If you say people can walk on it, it's a problem. So we try to avoid it. And so the end is also like 3 meters up. Okay. And I don't think if I would do it like this again, but we also went up with construction, so you can't climb it. I don't know if I would do this again.
Without your permission, were you able to walk on it when you were finished? Was it strong?
Yeah, of course. At the opening, we were like 30, 40 people on it, and this year the water level was really low, so it was kind of tricky to jump it, but of course we did, and yeah, all those things. It's an area where there are a lot of people in the summer hanging around and taking a swim, having a fire, having a party, having a festival. And we even let it kind of was a running gag that one of this sticks, one of the beams was not fixed properly. So it's kind of a running gag. So even in the sculpture back there's at least one that is not. Yeah. So when we came back in the summer, but when we came back in autumn to take it down, there was nothing missing. And for me, it was quite a surprise because they have to go quite a long way to get their wood and this would have been the easiest way to get some wood. So, but nothing was missing.
It's also a great thing to burn.
Yeah. Burns, yeah. Burn really, yeah.
Thank you.
So, like 2 years later, we were like, come on, let's build something again. And then we ended up building the Umlenker, where we kind of chose a different approach, for the static. So we really wanted to have this form. I will come to this later because we really wanted to have this form as clean as possible, and the idea was to because we had no experience, we could not calculate it, just to put as much as we have inside, and then it will hold. It will be strong enough, was our intention.
So you had no like engineering backgrounds
no
like architecture backgrounds. You were just kind of making this up.
Yeah, and it was quite funny. We arrived at the first day with the material, and then there was an architect with us, and we had this drawing, and we said, come on, we will build this, and it's going to be 40 meters high, and he was like, okay, and how are you going to do it? And we were like, I don't know, we just stopped, and he was kind of, he was really, more nervous than us. And then he helped us to find a level, so we could, because we needed to get to the form. So he helped us to find a level so we could measure where the form should be. And but after this day, he didn't come back. So it wasn't.
Just related to that, I have a powerful response, is that in North America, especially the second half of the 19th century, there were lots of wooden bridges made for railways, for small railways, like narrow gauge, like here. A lot of them didn't last, but the engineering became very complex, and many of the bridges failed after maybe 5 or 10 or 20 years. So there's sort of a beautiful optimism with the way you started it. And it didn't fall down.
No, it lasted. There was also an architect who came by, an older one, and he was there, was looking in it, and said, okay, it will, when the wind will come, it will take the whole sculpture. He predicted it, and we had a huge storm in the summer, but it lasted. So yeah, so we were really happy about that. Again, it was very physical. The venue was incredible. The view up there, animals. We also did a hut where we could sleep and eat. Up there, we had an encounter of a fox who tried to steal some food. One time, it was really nice. I tried to take a photo if he comes back, but I fell asleep. So it was quite nice. I really like this.
Could you also talk about the choice of the form? Like, how did you decide to make? Like, what was the idea behind the?
Yeah, the title we chose for this is Umlenker. That's kind of like a turnaround device. If something comes, we will turn it around. So we didn't specifically say what we were going to turn around, but because it was quite big and the way it was placed there, you could imagine something coming from outer space, and then we send it back. So our idea was to set up this prototype and then like a proof of concept, and then we could make many more of them so we can save ourselves from what's coming from outside. So it's also related to this Vanitas topic, reflection about death and human scale and looking outside to the stars. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, we did the same. We teared it apart, saved the wood because it was very chaotic. We had quite some wood we couldn't use. We again burned it. I never made a fire like this. It was huge.
You burned the whole structure?
No, if you want to burn something like this, it's quite difficult because you have to fill it with something. Because you cannot just start the fire. You would have to fill it, and then we were thinking about it because there is also a tradition in this area that you build a tower at the end of the winter, and then you put Hexe, a witch, on top.
Witch, okay.
And then you burn it. We still burn witches there.
Oh, so you burn the entire tower or just the witch?
Yeah, but it's a kind of a tradition to welcome the spring in this area. But we couldn't do it because there was too much snow that time. So we couldn't do it. We were thinking about it, and for us it would have been okay to work together with them and to burn it like this. But it didn't work out.
Are these plywood sheets flat, or did you actually form them?
Because it was so big, you could actually you could push them a little bit. So
Okay.
yeah, and they were pretty thin. Yeah.
Did some skater skated it?
It was too big, and the surface was not good enough to skate it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Why you burned it? Before you talked that you used material, and here it would also.
We did the same. We saved as much as possible, and the rest we burned. Yeah. So we also that's quite a long story. So I can tell you the story maybe another time. We set up a brand. We have a stuntman. We made a rocket car, and then we also created 3 ramps because it's a 3 jump. And therefore we had this topic we wanted to make a solid construction. So when you see it, it looks proper. And then we worked together with professional people who set up houses, and they helped us finding a construction so we could have a ramp that has the shape like this. So from the back it looks like this. So they helped us draw it, and then it was machined, and we got the parts and could put the parts together like almost like Lego with a plan, set it up, and then do the surface. And we kind of, after those projects working with wood, for us wood was just like a pragmatic choice. You know, you can't build a sculpture with steel when you just have a budget 7,000. So we took wood because here we actually wanted to paint it, but also we didn't have the budget and we didn't have the time, and so here we're kind of the same situation. We got problems to get the permission, so time was running out. We finally moved this, after this whole event, we moved it to Switzerland, to another venue, and then we could do the surface. And we did like this typography, immortal on it. And that was also a really nice experience, because when you do something with wood, it's always nice, and people love it. And that was something we were really concerned. We didn't want to be recognized as the ones who do lovely wood sculptures. That's not our intention.
Can I ask something about the putting on the text?
Yes.
So is it because you did that before in the other work, you said it was somehow a contrast to wood and you wanted to do it again, or is it, do you have any other relation to working with letters and text?
There's a poem. Philip knows more about that. I'm not into it that much. I think it's Die Rose.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you know it?
Eine Rose ist eine Rose, ist eine Rose.
So it relates to this poem. We also have inside like, so most of the time we try to go further than you usually would do. So inside there is, you have the sky with stars and stuff, and some graffiti effects. And we wanted to, we didn't want it to be like just a nice wooden sculpture, break this a little bit. Yeah.
But actually you have also, beside these works, you have in the museum or in the exhibitions, you have also an exhibition right now, who have different works in.
Yeah, right now there is like a solo exhibition in the museum where we put together quite a lot of works that relate somehow to this piece and also our practice. Yeah. I'd like to show you a short video. It's really nice. That kind of also tells quite a lot of our attitude. So we get the chance to work in an old fabric place, a huge hall, like 400 square meters, also in Arbon. So we started to do paintings, and we did like I think 30, 50 canvases this size, and then we found out when you put the canvas together you get a bigger painting, and that's nice, bigger is better, like. And then we were like, when we can put them, when we saw them together or stitch them together, and we can make a bigger canvas. So we made we put like 2 canvases together. Had a bigger canvas, and then we were like, okay, we can put 3 together, and then let's have a look. And we have it. So it took us like a day to produce it. And then in the evening we realized that it actually is too big. Because you produce it the other way around, and then you turn it around, and then you put the first layers on it. And we were like, come on, we're so stupid, you know. You get a huge place to work, and then you just, yeah. Yeah, but just, I'll just stop here, and then, yeah, if you have questions, might be to answer.
You have also the video film. I just saw you work in this space there. It's the first time that I have seen your works. So there was like more than one film, video. This was one, and then another one you were building a
Okay, Ausbau.
no, Cemetery. Yeah, you were. It was a tower by wood, but it was so simply. Yeah, this video and these two together. You know, they talk. They are in a kind of dialogue. You see that.
There in the show there are like 3 videos running. On Handwerks, one over the top, and it's called like the trilogy of failure. Actually, we did the concept of this piece was we wanted to build a tower, and we restricted ourselves. By the amount of wood we would use. So we started building, and then we took out the wood from the bottom to get up higher, and we ended up there like I think 1.5 hours later. And when we stood up, it was going like this, and it was I think the most stupid work we ever did. It was really, really stupid. I was angry about myself. It was really, really stupid. We had some friends nearby watching, and they were all like, we did not realize when we were doing it. We were just doing it, but afterwards it was like really, really, really stupid. And now we really, when we have a construction, we really try to think a lot about safety, and because we have quite a lot of people working with us. Like here for Loop, we had a team for about at least 30 people, and you don't want to be responsible for someone getting hurt. So, and the third video of failure, also nice, also Lake of Constance. Yeah, we made this piece for an exhibition, went down there and tried it out and failed. Of course, it was meant to. And the great thing about this piece was that there were some people taking a swim, hanging out, and they were freaking out. They were like, one was swimming towards us, and like, why don't you put a second fass? There's a second barrel, or why don't you put some water inside? So they couldn't stand it that we failed all the time. So we were like, we didn't react because it was Yeah.
So you kept repeating this.
Yeah, we tried out, and I think this was one of the best. One of the best tries we had together.
And the video you showed before with the tower, how did you get down again? Because you made it all the way up, but so did you climb just down? Or?
Yeah, quickly. Yeah, we and then trying to not to move too much, and then climbing down again. There was also a question for the piece on the back, I suggested that we do tower, raise it up, and then the question was, okay, then we need a scaffold. I was like, no, we don't need a scaffold. We have a scaffold with a structure. We don't need a scaffold. It's also what we experienced with the Umlenker, that when you start building something, you can stand on it and just work yourself up. Also with, we did several brands. Like we have our own brand we use, Bildstein Glatz or here. Feld is an off space we run in Vienna. A horse. Then Fitz was the kind of the company who made, who sponsored the world record in 3 jump, rocket car 3 jump, and Bats was it's like a brand we set up to do this bicycle race. We did this racetrack in this exhibition space. And therefore we used Bats as a vehicle, also to reflect the role of brands taking over subculture.
So this is the track in the exhibition space?
Yeah, that's the track.
And then there's another loop that connects? It's like a figure 8?
It's like, I think I put it in there so you can... Here it starts with the bowl. Then you got out here. Then you went in there.
And then it goes back into the bowl.
Then you went in there. Then you went.
It goes through all the rooms.
Then you could choose either to go up or to go down. And then you went back to the bowl. So it was like three rooms connected. And the fastest one was under 10 seconds. After 3 days of training, we made it under 10 seconds. It was
for like 1 lap.
For 1 lap, and that was remarkable. Yeah.
Can you tell me about the publishing?
The book, or
well, is there only one book?
Is the same or?
It's the same, yeah. It's the same.
Okay. Yeah. How did you achieve publishing such an amazing book? Do you have a gallery that supported you, or?
We did quite some artist books. And we love to do art books. Okay. Because then you're free, and you can play with the medium. And then when we got this invitation for Kunstmuseum Thurgau, where we did the loop, and also the exhibition that's running right now, part of the deal was that we do a book. And then because we had the support from the museum, and the museum works together with the publisher, because it was 6 hours monograph, we decided to run for money.
We stayed away from
and it was not easy, but in the end we could almost get the money together from the state, Austria, from the country, from Switzerland.
Wonderful.
They just climbed down.